The retail real estate market, both locally and nationally, has been influenced by the role of the Dayton brothers. Their family legacy of retail real estate began in 1902, when George Draper Dayton developed a 6-story building on Nicollet Mall to house R.S. Goodfellow and Company, later known as the Dayton Company.
My grandfather was a country banker in Worthington, came out of Geneva, New York. In the homesteading days, he was telling the farmers to put their money in corn and hogs. Then as that boom died down, early 1900s, he decided, wrote his people that we should combine and should look at urban real estate. If you take the train to Minneapolis, rent a buggy, count traffic. He wrote them back after a brief study, said we will confine our buying on Nicollet Avenue from 4th to 10th Street. When the church burned down on 7th and Nicollet, he bought that. People thought he was crazy for moving so far out of town, and it worked.
In 1950, the Dayton brothers, Donald, Bruce, Wallace, Kenneth, and Douglas, inherited the company. Under their leadership, the world's first fully enclosed shopping mall, Southdale Center in Edina, was built. Southdale was developed to be a place to bring people together and provide a sense of community.
It worked very well. We were uncertain about the 2 levels. Hallmark had a store in each level, one on top of the other. People liked it, and it really paid off.
The Dayton brothers made an impact on the skyline and landscape of downtown Minneapolis. The early 1970s brought about the creation of a tree-lined Nicollet Mall, funded by a group of Minneapolis businessmen, including the Dayton brothers. In 1974, the IDS Center opened, in part due to the Dayton brothers' agreement to house the Dayton-Hudson corporate headquarters in the building. That decision directly impacted the Minneapolis Skyway system, building the first set of skyways between the IDS Center and the retail location on Nicollet Mall to allow easy movement between the 2 buildings.
Each of the brothers were involved in different areas. I was working on Target for suburban locations. Don and Ken were working on the skyways. Don particularly responsible for Nicollet Mall, Ken for the Symphony Hall, Bruce for the Art Institute, Wally for the Nature Conservancy. First guy I know that billed himself as a conservationist.
While in the midst of the mall projects, the brothers also developed their first Target store in Roseville in 1962.
And Target was fun, and we had good sites in Roseville, Knollwood, Crystal, Duluth. We went to Duluth up by on top of the hill, first retail establishment up there. There's many others now.
For Douglas, the Minneapolis YMCA was a capstone project.
We worked very hard on restoring the YMCA block. I ran the first drive the Y had in '72, raised $15 million, largest amount of money any YMCA had ever raised at that time. We started the suburban branches.
In addition to their expansive list of contributions to the real estate industry, the Dayton brothers were very mindful of using their influence to do the right thing. Following the corporate belief that what is good for the community is good for business, the Dayton brothers have continued a legacy of giving back to the community through an assortment of philanthropic efforts.
Well, we survive with the community. My father always said, even though he wasn't particularly interested in the arts, he said if we didn't have the Symphony and Art Institute, it would be a cow town. And that is my grandfather. Before him, Bruce asked him once how much money he'd given, and he told him. He said, after that, I quit counting. So it comes from a long tradition, and we thrive with the community, we prosper with it, we give back to it.
Please congratulate the Dayton brothers, award recipients of the 2011 Minnesota Real Estate Hall of Fame.